All right, my name is Teran Stallings. I'd like to thank both of you for being here for this conversation and give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to the voters. Let's start with you, Mr. Pryor.
My name is Stephan Pryor, son of a legend, champion Aaron the Hawk Pryor, born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio. A professional career in boxing, 13-2, 7 knockouts. Do advertising, promotions. That's one of my hobbies I do. I work for urgent care.
Okay. Appreciate it. Mr. James.
All right. My name is Ryan James. I'm running for Cincinnati City Council. I'd be the youngest black man in history ever elected to Cincinnati City Council, so I'm so excited to bring some new energy and innovation to the role. A little bit about me is I have spent my career working in social services. The reason why I started that passion is I grew up in a household led by a really strong single black mom. Our business crashed in 2008. Because of that, we experienced homelessness for about a year. We regained stability when my mom got employed as a public school teacher. And I knew that when I started the workforce, I had one thing that I had to do, and my mom would kick my butt if I didn't work for the greater good here. So I'm passionate about driving innovation forward at the city, and we're standing on opportunity, access, and trust. So that means housing, youth programs, and workforce development.
All right. Thank you both for that. All right, so we'll dive right in. Your first question. What is your strategy to ensure that public and private investments don't just reach downtown, but also uplift neighborhoods like Avondale, Bond Hill, and the West End? Let's start with you, Mr. James.
Yeah, I think that means having real conversations with our employers in the region. That's why I'm so passionate about workforce development. Right now, so many of our neighborhoods feel disenfranchised because they're not brought to the table like we should. So we need to also fix this community listening process. I'm a big believer that we need to empower our local neighborhood councils and make sure that they have a seat at the table when it comes to advocacy and their voices are heard within City Hall.
Thank you. Same question, Mr. Pryor. Would you like to repeat it?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. What is your strategy to ensure that public and private investments don't just reach downtown, but also uplift neighborhoods like Avondale, Bond Hill, and the West End?
Well, that's a good question. They got to start signing CBAs, Community Benefits Agreement. That's what they got to start signing. That means get the community involved in neighborhoods, different neighborhoods involved with these developers. They need to get rid of these lobbyists. Lobbyists was stopping everything. That's why I won't reach Avondale, Bond Hill, Walnut Hills. Might reach Walnut Hills, but not Roselawn, none of them areas. Them the problems. We need to get rid of them lobbyists. Them lobbyists what's running the city, and people getting bags of money to do it. So how can they get a seat at the table? Huh? We got to get rid of the lobbyists. And then we can talk seat at the table. Our own people playing us. And that's why I'm running this seat for city council, to stop all this, to be the one straight up forward with these candidates that's running. Be straight up forward what's going on. And they need to stop all this stuff, man.
Got you. I got you. Appreciate you both for your answers.
Thank you.
Let's keep moving. So our next question, what do you see as the root causes that drive violence in our neighborhoods, and what would be your plan to address them? Start with you, Mr. Pryor.
Well, jobs. Job creation equals less crime. They're not helping the community. It goes back to that. Go right back to that. You get these developers coming to different neighborhoods, seeing all this development going on, but it's not hiring the community within the community where they're developing it. And how can they get jobs? It starts with the city leaders now that's sitting in them seats, man. They're not helping the community, and a change needs to come. That's the only way it's going to stop this crime. You see crime keep happening in the heart of the city, at Fountain Square. Why is that? They give out a lot of money to actually saying we doing this, but ain't doing it. They got all these organizations saying they doing this, doing that, but they ain't doing that. That's what's going to stop this crime. People doing their jobs for real, not for fake.
Gotcha. Same question. Would you like that repeated?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I will say that public safety is something that I've been really passionate about in this process. Simply because, as a young black man, it seems like everybody's talking about us when it comes to public safety, and no one's really willing to reach out a hand and give us opportunity. So I will say that right now, we are in a cost of living crisis. Our residents are feeling more cost burdened than ever. The idea of crime in our city and poverty in our city are inseparable. We have 26 neighborhoods that identify as having food deserts. We need to build more pipelines to workforce development. We need vibrant communities. When we talk about the same communities that are using their voices time after time about public safety concerns. It's the same neighborhoods that lack equitable investment. So there's a few different lenses that we need to take to address this crisis. But I think equitable investment and making sure that our residents have the resources they need to survive and thrive through small business support, workforce development, youth programs, particularly youth programs that give young people access to economic opportunity at a young age. I'm a big believer that the same young people that are that we may talk about outcomes on the streets are the same young people that if they thought they could get employed at Kroger or P&G, or they saw themselves at Xavier or UC, or realized that a few years after high school they could getting paid six figures as an electrician after high school. If they had visions of economic opportunities and strong pipelines to get to these outcomes, then we wouldn't have to talk about public safety so much.
All right.
I piggyback off that one too. If we get these big companies, Procter & Gamble, get them a tax break. If you give them a tax break, they might say, hold on, we'll work something out with y'all, city leaders. We can actually start hiring the community if we give them tax breaks. Nobody's never approached that like that at all. You got to have a new idea, a new vision. Nobody's not doing that. But imagine you come to a big company that's saying, we give y'all a tax break if y'all come here. But y'all got to actually start hiring the community. We talking about in the community, for real. The guys that be on the corner. Give them a chance, opportunity. Only way to do that, offer them something. The big companies, offer them a tax break. That'll help out too. But will it happen? Nope.
Gotcha. Again, thank you both. Next question. This one gets a little sticky. So when federal agencies like ICE seek cooperation from local police, it can erode trust in the black communities. What is your position regarding local cooperation with ICE, and how would you protect civil rights while keeping public safety?
I think under no circumstances should we work with ICE in any capacity. I think even the notion that the Cincinnati Police Department should work with federal entities like ICE is ridiculous. I think that they're making our communities less safe, not more safe. So I think that right now when we talk about these conversations of public safety, we need to talk about community policing. So a visible police force, an adequately paid police force, and a police force that's get out of the cruisers, put down the weapons, and on the streets helping residents and authentically building relationships with real people in our neighborhoods. So I think that those two entities, we need to support police, but specifically community policing, and do everything in our power to fight these federal agencies that are trying to come in at this fake time of public safety crisis.
Well, my take on that, I saw a video of an ICE agent trying to take a Mexican down, and he gave up. That's what needed to happen. More people coming together, just seeing that. I would not actually work with the federal agent, not at all, ICE, not at all, because it's like corruption in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? They shooting without asking questions, and that's something we don't need. That's more chaos, adding on to the fuel on the fire, putting fuel to the fire. So I wouldn't work with them. I wouldn't.
Absolutely not.
All right. So here's a pretty straight up question. Why should black Cincinnatians trust you with their vote? And what is your track record of standing with the black community?
Well, born and raised in over the Rhine and downtown area, Mount Auburn area, all around. They know me. My heart is pure as gold. I don't play games. I don't lie to folks just to get a vote. A name to know and a name people can trust. You know what I mean? So I'm down to earth. And that's the whole key of wanting people to vote for me, because they know I am. I'm a people's choice. You know what I mean? So I go where the rough guys at. I go in the neighborhood where all the guys at, the killers, the murderers. I go see them where they at on the corner, the drug dealers. I don't fear none of that. If you fear that, you don't get no outcome. So by going in different communities, they know me, they trust me. I talk with them. I used to be them. And I changed myself around by doing something different, trying to fight for the people. And that's the key, fighting for the people and speaking the truth to power. And just don't bar none. You know what I mean? And if you fear, how can I have fear in my system and I won't go address the problem? So you got to address the problem, what's going on in the community, and I see it each and every day. Some people's born with a silver spoon in their mouth and think they know the community. They really don't. People say a lot of stuff just to get in these seats, and they do the opposite. You see it for 10 to 20 years. DJ Vader see it for decades. And the same stuff keep happening over and over again. So it's just me if I get on this seat. But I can work with different other politicians too, to talk to them. But I'm not for sale. That's one thing. You can't offer me no money. When I ran for state representative in last year, they came at me and said, how much you want to jump out the race? I told them, kiss my ass. I don't play them games. I don't. So that's what people need, honesty. People trustworthy of doing things. Be a man of your word. Because trust me, a lot of corruption, when people doing corruption and they know they doing it and it lies, it messed their whole system up, their whole body up. So I'm not in that field, brother, of getting bags of money, just being quiet. And I don't do that. Fighting for the people. That's why I want the people to vote for me.
There you go. Appreciate that. Same question?
Yeah, I think that first of all, reason why the black community should have trust me is I'm black, proudly black, nothing but black. I don't feel like I'm owed anything because of my identity here, but I do think that roots me and roots my values. I'll also say that, we talk so much about community listening. It's something that I've harped on over and over again. I do believe we're in a cost of living crisis that is going to disproportionately affect our black and brown residents. But my short answer as to why the black community in Cincinnati should have trust in me is because throughout this process, we've been in all 52 neighborhoods and we've been listening to black residents. We've been talking to, being a young professional here, we've been talking to young professionals. We know that we have a huge brain drain for some of our young black talent that has been fleeing for dope cultural experiences, more vibrant cities, the DCs, the Atlantas, I hate to say, but even the Columbuses of the world. I will say we've been talking to aging black residents, and we understand that the cost of home ownership has been skyrocketing. We have a lot of first generation black homeowners that are in the very vulnerable position of the first generation opportunity to disseminate wealth, pass down wealth to their children through home ownership, but they're on the verge of losing access to home ownership through things like property taxes. We need more property tax alleviation for elements like home repair. One program that I've been harping over and over again is the city's home repair program, Harbor, HARBOR. Right now, the titanic barrier that exists with Harbor is not that we need more money, not that we need to allocate more resources, although I think we should. But right now, there's concrete mechanisms that stop our residents from getting access to those resources on their worst day, like the ones that my family had when we experienced homelessness. You need a building code and inspections violation on your property in order to access our city's home repair program, Harbor, which is ridiculous. So we talk in the black community about if our programs of the city are building trust or we're building traps. If you need to interact with the criminal justice system in order to get a social service, what do you think we're building here? We've been talking to residents. We need to empower. We live in a very segregated city, and the reason I harp back and back about equitable community listening and equitable investment is we need to be in our neighborhoods. We need to have real conversations with people, and we need to keep that work going. But the reason black community should trust me in Cincinnati, outside of my identity, is because we've been there, we're listening, we're showing up, and we have the tech expertise to get this work done.
Absolutely.